And we welcome everybody to High Five Sundays. And today we have somebody very special that is making his first appearance, Brother Francis from New Mexico and Long Island and a few other places in between. But, somebody that I have known for some time. And he is going to bring some interesting energies. We're not sure exactly what comes in the mix. I know that he channels Akhenaten and Nefertiti's, and that brings ancestors into his messages and more. And so we're going to, first of all, we're very grateful that you're here. And with an open heart, we welcome you and know that we are a group of friends that is connecting with you and expanding on whatever you bring forth.
Okay.
So, welcome, and the floor is yours.
All
Your
right.
process is all yours.
Okay. Just give me a few seconds here, and because I've had so much with so many that want to talk today, and so he's definitely in here. Akhenaten wants to be able to speak, and what he and Nefertiti do is they talk in the present moment because they're not back on Earth at all. They are busy rolling around in Orion and Sirius. They do a lot of their work from there. Um, what he wants everyone to know is, and I can feel the shift. So, what I want you to know, beloveds, is that you are definitely already on track. Many of you have come to this world to be able to express the one heart that you are. We were in touch with many of you, and the ones of you that came today, we were with you along with the one that called himself Brother Francis, who I call Akhenaten back in the day. You were in the solar temples with us. And I want you to know that these things that you speak of today is the things that we kind of seeded into you, because each person within men and women, Nefertiti worked with the women and the girls, and I worked with the men and the boys, but we were all still doing the same thing. And so we want you to know that what you talk about today is exactly what was seeded into you. And you have evolved from lifetime to lifetime. But what we want you to know today is that the earth has already split. Okay, it's already 5D, and what you see is 3D running around, acted out. We don't try to control that. They are lost souls, but those who are on the bridge is your heart chakra. So that's where your compassion is. That's where your unconditional love is. That's the light of divine grace is flowing through there. So we want you to stay there within that bridge and also allow yourself to walk into fifth dimensional consciousness. And many of you are doing that right now. We also want to let you know that by 2027, 2029, this planet will be definitely 5D. It may look slightly different. However, the most important thing we want you to realize is those who live in fear will see fearful things. Those who do not live in fear will see loving things. Um, I can attest to the fact that the one who is holding my presence right now, he used to talk about that when he lived on Long Island, and he was a part of a Moorish temple, and people said, he's a little out there. Why is he talking about, calmness on one side of the street, and on the other side, maybe a slight crack in the road? But someone on the other side having fear would think everything's a shambles. So he says it's a simulated world for sure. And what we want to remind you is that simulation is still in action right now. The most important thing that we want you to also consider is to be able to meditate as much as you can and to use intentions, use affirmations, affirmative prayers, whatever rings your bell, use it. because that's going to allow you to expand and grow. What we want you to also realize is that many of you are out of your body all the time. So much so, especially when you go to sleep at night, you're not like in the physical body. You still have that umbilical silver cord that's connecting you, and you do have a Blu-ray cord that's connecting you heart to heart, throat to throat, third eye, and which is of course pituitary. So all the higher regions are connected. And what happens is many of you are walking around in what we call the great central sun. If many people say that the great central sun is Alcyon, that is true for some, but for us, a home planet is Sirius, and that is the location. And when you are there, you actually experience palaces and gardens and temples and resting places. But we want you to know is that when you are there as your higher self. So what we want you to realize is we don't want you to think of your higher self as separate from who you are right now. Because if you're in this group, you're actually here as your higher self, remembering and receiving information that you can then utilize either amongst a pod group, family group, spiritual family group, fathers and sons spiritual family group. So we just want you to understand that. We also want you to know and realize that your breath, the way that you breathe, will be very and very important to you. Like for those of you who live where there is water, we actually want you to get in it. If you are on more sand, stand on it. He said, but what we want you to realize is tag, you're it. And every day you're going to feel more of your true self, which is your higher self. And that's how you will want to function, especially in this earthly plane with all this we call foolishness and funny stuff going down the pike. So we want you to be in that moment of your higher self as much as you possibly can. We also want you to realize that what is very healthy for you to do is to shed tears. Stop holding on to your tears. Stop going, I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry in front of my mate, my partner. I don't want to cry in front of the dog or the cat. Look, those four-legged ones know that you need to release some tears. And that's why they're hanging around you. That's why they look at you like, are you going to cry yet? Finally, please. So he said, just let the tears flow. And tears are not often related to sadness. Sometimes the tears are you are releasing old footage, old things that you no longer need to carry. And we applaud you when you do release those tears. The one who talks to you sometimes when he reads for other people, if people aren't shedding their tears, he actually sheds the tears for them so that they can release it and get it out of their system. So we want you to know that you're good healers, you're good speakers, you're good creators. You know, you're all creator gods, but all creator gods every now and then gotta shed a tear, because if you don't, your heart will explode. You'll have inner disease things and illnesses going on, and you'll have to work it out. We also want to let you know those hospitals that are around you, with those call hospitals, is not hospitality. You know, so we want you to get in tune with eating better food for yourself. Now, we're not here to judge, because whatever food that you're attracted to, that's what you're supposed to do until you no longer are connected to it. So, as example, people may eat meat, people may have fish, people might have poultry. But there's some point you're going to have a flashback, and it's going to be like boing, and you're going to go like, oh my God, all of the chickens are from across the plate are looking at me. All of the fish are eyeballing me. All of this is looking at me, and I have to disconnect. But he says, no judgment, okay? We all from lifetime to lifetime have gone through this. What we want you to do is practice what is called quantum leaping. So before you go to sleep at night, We want you to think of where you would like to have an experience where your higher self has already done it. And usually over 2 or 3 days or nights or 1 or 2 weeks, you will find yourself living in another paradigm and you will see yourself there living in a more progressive way. So let's say if you had crystals around, but you don't know how to work with them, and you've taken thousands of classes and you still don't understand. Well, there's another one of you in another paradigm. That's all that they do. That's all that they do. When you go there, you'll think you're back in Atlantis, but you're not. You're in another parallel universe connected to right where you're at, where you're doing all those things. If you wanted to be an artist, there's one of you that does that quite well, a musician. If you are a photographer, a filmmaker, there's one of you that does that. But also understand your higher self is the one who's done it all. And if you can connect through meditation on a regular basis with your higher self, you will begin to blossom and nothing will really phase you anymore. As I say these things to you, my mate, my partner, Nefertiti's like tapping me like, enough. And she's here and she wants all of you to know that this day that is called Mother's Day is for men, women, boys, and girls. It is for animals who are mothering, fathering. It is for everyone. And so we want you to love everyone from your heart, the deepest part of your heart. I, Nefertiti, always want you to realize that you are traveling when you are asleep. You are never in your body. You're not always in your house. She said, the most difficult thing to do is be in your car, and all of a sudden, I feel like I got to go somewhere. And so I, Nefertiti, said, pull that rig over, pull that boat over to the side of the road, go into a park or something and park, and then go. I want you all to know that we are loving souls. You might realize that as serious as Akhenaten wants to be, he is really a comedian. He jokes around a lot. And so he always gravitates those who are serious minded, and then he lightens you up. And I do the same. I'm here to lighten you up. I'm here to tell you today to love yourself so much more. And then the miraculous part of you will begin to unfold. You'll begin to remember every lifetime you've ever lived in. And you can sit back and look at a blank wall and begin to see the movie unfold. You'll be able to see exactly where you are headed. And we want you to understand and to know that. And we love you so much. We love you so much. We love you so much.
And we love you so much too. Wow. What a powerful message.
Yes.
Packed with information.
I had no idea I didn't go to roll, but my heart was pounding, so that meant something.
They did not
But
lose any time. Can
no,
we pose some questions
yes, you
for
can.
Akhenaten and Nefertiti? So please, if anyone has some questions, oh, Ray's over there, for sure. Let's give Ray the floor for a question or two that he's got, and then we'll assemble others.
I have a question which perked my curiosity, I might say, because I read it earlier today and I love synchronicities. It was about the Egypt, Lemurian, and Sumerian civilizations having not only extraterrestrials with them on a daily and consistent basis, but participating in galactic travel with the aliens. Can you comment on that, please? And I really appreciate your energy and all of the messages which came through. That was powerful, especially the energy behind and between the words. It is just, I am very fortunate, and I believe that we all are, just to have you interact with us today. Thank you.
I, beloved Akhenaten, we had in our solar temple, we had created a very profound way in which to travel. And believe it or not, your physical form contains that from the bottom of your spine, from the tailbone up about 8 vertebrae, right in there, it has been always been spoken of what is called your Merkaba unfolding. That is your true spaceship. You don't need a physical metal piece to travel somewhere unless you're going into hostile territory. Then you will take your armor. The ship is your armor so that you don't get your genetic structure manipulated. But you can travel anywhere you want in the form that you're at. What happens is we tell you, like if you're going into the great central sun, we tell you that you're the smallest size of you is roughly about 35 feet. You look at a lamppost, think of a lamppost as a cane, and that's where your hand would be. So you're really tall, and that's how you approach the sun. You said everything in scale is like this. An ant on your finger, that's how you are to the sun. If you went in there as the size of an ant, your physical form, you'd be like an ant. So you'd like literally be kind of, people have to like gingerly walk around you, not to step on you. Okay. So these structures, they're all the same. They were just done for the mindset at that time, but they're all the same. Atlantis is Earth, is Lemuria, is Mu. It's still one and the same. Keep in mind, it's sort of like when you go to nowadays, you learn French before you go to France, so you can speak a little bit of the language. You learn Spanish before you go into Spain or other places to speak a little bit of the language. He says, however, the only language you need to have is unconditional love. And when you put your heart and mind to it, you could be anywhere in the galaxy. We want you to understand that the quote unquote aliens, they will unfold themselves to you according to the vibration of love. So sometimes what we see has been, shown to us. It was designed to kind of scare off the right people so they're not in there manipulating and turning things upside down. He said, but sometimes they will look like you. Just like the gentleman said, they'll come in the form of you so you can get adjusted. And then once you are very comfortable, then there's that fusion where you can come together and you can connect and you can relate. But also understand there are trillions upon trillions upon trillions of expressions of what we think galactic is. It's actually, we put it to you this way. You are a cell in the body of the creator, what we call the creator. So you are like a blood cell within that. And all of you, and every planet is inside of that. So if you can imagine all the planets in this particular galaxy with all the beings walking along are the miniature cells of those galaxies and those planets in the body of something much bigger. So we want you to keep that in mind. And how do you relate to it? You relate on the vibration of miraculous, unconditional love. If you could come into the zone with that sensation within yourself, having great compassion, great humility, everything will reveal itself to you in the way that it's supposed to. But it's always going to be different from different groups because different groups have a certain mindset. And so we're not here to shock you out of your boots. We're not here to do that, but we're here to raise your consciousness to the point of what we call higher consciousness, but that is constantly evolving. Every moment of the day, all of us are evolving. Even when I say those who want to play in a 3D world and turn the world upside down and try to control people, well, that's going to, at some point, it will come to a halt. There are many of them in another paradigm doing something 180 degrees different. You would be knocked off your shoes to see Mr. T giving out food, helping people. But his higher self is going like, I can't get him there yet. He's not listening to me. And I don't know what to do to get him there. Well, we have to let him just be where he is. But if everybody else raises their vibration continuously on the planet, you'll see less and less of that. All that will come down like this. You get to a point where you don't even hear it anymore. It won't disappear, but it'll turn into a pebble. And all you see is that pebble on the ground. Now here's the key. If you're going to pick up the pebble, you better pick it up with love, not with fear, or you open it back up like a clamshell. So that's what we're asking all of you to do. That's why you have this immense love for the planet that's flowing through you.
Great advice and lesson, and very detailed. I really appreciate that, Akhenaten. And if anyone else has a question, if not, I will ask a follow-up. Heidi, did you have one, or Brian, or?
Could you tell us more about how to activate the spine?
Okay. There are many techniques that have been out. One of our friends on the planet came under the name of Drunvalo. He has a technique that you can utilize if you can find the Flower of Life books. The technique is in there. But this is all you basically have to do. Those first 8 vertebrae are connected to all the other chakras going up your body, okay? So it's sort of like all you have to do is picture the 2 3-sided triangles. One is on top and the other is on the bottom. A good example of a diagram is the 6-pointed Star of David. That's it right there. You put a dot in the middle, that's you. Okay, so the top one rotates to the right and the bottom one rotates to the left. And so it looks like it's not set, but that's how gears in a machine work, right? One gear is going down and it's pushing the other gear up. Okay, so it's the same thing. If you focus on what's on the top, you will be like now and so-called future. If you focus on the bottom part, then it's not now and like so-called past. All you got to do is just picture 2 triangular forms, like in a 2-dimensional, 1-dimensional plane. Okay, so what happens is the point that's above you, if you do a smaller one, is like right here. And then the base of it is down what we call lunar chakra. That's sacral, okay? Then the other one is right where the solar plexus hits and the point going down past your body, past your tailbone. If you're standing up, just make it big in your mind. Then what you want to do is a simple breathing technique. You inhale and you hold the breath, and in your mind, you focus on the top and say, spin to the right. What you're really talking about is yourself. Your higher self is going to come down like a gyroscope and start spinning the top. Now, if it spins it too fast, you're going to get a little bit of heart palpitation going on. So you're going to say, spin real slow, real slow. Then you can get to a point where you could count 8 beats, 8 seconds to get it to feel it spinning. What it is because we are like the creator, we create in our mind how we want it to be. And then we'll feel the bottom go in the other direction because that's the natural flow that it is to go. If you need to check some kind of a way, use like a pendulum. You can be able to determine if the top one is actually going like you want it to go. You will feel it up in here too, right up in here. You'll feel this whole area buzz. And then you will feel down in the sacral chakra, you'll feel that kind of twinge. You'll also get a spark that runs through your body, which is running through your spine. Your spine is not exactly straight, right? It's like your head here and neck, and then it goes down like that. But in the spirit world, it's straight as a rod. So that's why you'll get the feeling of pressure coming in on the chest sometimes, or pressure coming in on the pelvis. He said, but what you can do is, you just did it. Right? You put your hand on your heart, right? Your heart is like the main key, right? And so now you just think from heart up into the top past your crown. And it's like moving your eyes to the right, and then close your eyes and just feel the vibration go to the right. To the right means it's going clockwise around your body. And once you begin to feel that, then you can drop down a little lower through your body, but keep your hand on the heart, because your heart is the governor of all of this. And you start focusing at the bottom, and you get the feel of turning, going to counterclockwise. The very unique pattern is that they're both spinning in their directions all at the same time. And what you're doing through your heart is stay centered in your heart. Then you can drop down, you can see the past, or go up, and you can see the future. Is what we want you my mother's in here now. My mother's name is Grace. She wants all of you to know that you already know how to do this. It's not hard. So practice as much as you need to practice, but don't overdo it, because you don't want to create headaches, or if you have any toxins in your system, that's going to start to come out. So a little bit at a time. My mother Grace is here because Akhenaten is every time she comes, I have to sit down. My mother's Leo. Mother Grace just wants all you to know. You have to really, really work on clearing your soul, because with the vibrations that are happening on the earth right now, it's going to create a lot of friction, and we may not see earthquakes, but the body's going to be like going through earthquakes. It's going to be nerve system shattering and things of that nature, breaking out in rashes and things like that. It's the same thing. So she is saying for me to tell you all to really work on your deep breathing as much as you can, and silence is the way to go. Try to spend a day in silence, or just stay home, don't have nothing on, just walk around in silence. And what will happen is there's a very good cleansing and clearing that goes on. And she waves to everybody and she says, I love all you. Thank you for being here and letting my youngest son do the work. And we love you.
Thank you. We love you.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So, on the subject of breath, what else can you help us with? Breath.
Okay. Well, there's all types of breath techniques. A lot of people like to use box technique, they call it. But what I've found is if you are a person that has had difficulty breathing, like me, I came into the world with asthma, so a box breath don't really help me. That creates restrictions in the lungs. The best way to do it is just breathe the way normally for yourself. So, in other words, inhale, use your diaphragm to push the belly button forward to inhale a little bit and then relax it. On over a period of time, doing it every day, you'll be able to extend the breath. You can count up to 8 seconds and hold about 12, but you don't really have to go that far. Usually 4 and 4 is enough. It's 4, inhaling the 4 seconds, transition stage is the 5th second, and then exhale on 4. So it's actually like 10 seconds that you're utilizing. That's enough to clear. yourself and keep yourself going. Beyond that, just work with the light, the energy of light, and keeping yourself grounded and centered. But most of the work is done through the heart chakra. And that's what I teach my students. I have them focus on the center of the sternum, and then the whole key is to be in the heart, go beyond the heart, and then the physical body's not there. So I have them like connecting to their higher self, usually in about 6 to 8 months of doing the work, group wise, once a week, and for themselves on their own. But it can be done. Once the higher self shows up, which is really you, my higher self says, every day we do Halloween in this physical form. He said, but you're really just light form, energetic light form, So your higher self will have you doing various things to raise your awareness and keep things going. However, he says, Akhenaten pops in, he says, utilize those crystals. He said, because back in the time of Kemet, we utilized selenite. We had selenite in there, and it's ingrained in the sand and things. And that's why those structures that you see are still there. They're not going anywhere. So use your selenite, use moldavite, use any gemstone that you're really strongly connected to, work with them a lot. And that will help. And occasionally take a Epsom salt bath, just a little bit, but do it with your feet to keep your feet clear. Because one of the things Mother Grace says, people talk about grounding. Make sure you're grounding in an area that you know is clean. Because if you're stepping out into the element, you're picking up fecal matter right through the soles of your feet. And she says, everything poops, Worms poop, ants poop, bees poop, everything's pooping, birds pooping, dog pooping, cat pooping. So she said the soles of your feet have many pores that you can't even see, and it's coming right up into your feet. So be careful. Inspect the place before you do that. Any other questions?
Thank you for that. How can we work more effectively with sun and connecting through our sun to the great central sun?
Yeah, the sun in the sky is the keyhole. That's not the great central sun. That's just a keyhole effect. But it's there is what is called eating the sun, and eating the sun every day is doing solar gazing. So when you look at the news and they tell you sunrise is at 7:30. Well, you need to be out there 20 to 30 minutes before that happens. Because when the sun is rising and hits the peak, it's white. It's radiating a white light, and that's not the light you want to gaze into. And if you do, you need some very, very dark shades. That light will open you all the way up, but it'll have a burn effect on the inside. So you want to begin to solar gaze when you just see that orange gold right at the horizon. That's the time you want to be at, when you just catch it coming up, and it takes about 20 minutes before it shifts into white. So if you're doing that, one of the things that will happen, it'll smooth out your skin over a period of time, and take skin tags and pull them back in like they're supposed to be. They're not supposed to be outside your body like that. Uh, it will also, for people who normally don't eat a lot, all of a sudden you have this burst like you got to eat. And people who eat a lot, all of a sudden have this feeling, I don't feel like I'm hungry anymore. It will do that effect. But what that does is it sends off a signal when you are doing that outside. Now, you don't stare at it, you just let your eyes relax and gaze at it. Okay. Any hymns you can sing your higher self loves joy. So you could sing Leonard Skinner if you want. It don't care, because you're producing happiness and joy. That's what it really likes. You can sing the Beatles if you want. Motown, it don't care. It's just be happy. If you want to do some mantra chanting, you can do that. You can put a headset with different kind of jazz. Just sit And that orange, yellow, gold vibration has a lot with cleansing your skin and your pores. Okay, so that's sunrise. Sunset is the same thing. If they say the sun is going to be set, it'll be set by 7:30. You got to start gazing while you see it orange gold, and then you just watch it go down, and then that's it. It's the same. So those are the two best times in which to do it. And each person, it takes a long time or a short time. You'll know. You'll start hearing things. You'll start remembering things. And it's a blessing to be able to do it. That's what we call eating the sun. That energy allows you then to go into a deep meditation when you get back home. And now you say, okay, I'm going to go to Sirius, where Akhenaten and Nefertiti are hanging out. And then over many attempts, you'll have it through the dream world first, because it's easy to access through the dreams. And also, all of the shamans around the world will tell you the dream world is the real world. This world is the phony world. So you go to the dream world and you can switch things. You can see an outcome. I don't like the way that's going down. So I'm going to do this, and this one's going to do that. And I'm going to talk to those beings and they're going to shift. And then you come down here and wake up and you see the scene play out. He said, now, do they remember what I told them? That's the key. Use the dream world to do the homework. That's the actual lab, is your dreams. And you can have a dream within a dream too. You can actually travel corridors of light through dreams. Another technique, and it just came to mind thinking of corridors. If you want to meet any deity that you have a connection to, in your mind, you see a corridor. And on one end, there's a doorway. And on the other end, there's a doorway. And usually what I place in the middle is a bed of roses, because the bed of roses connects us to the angel of grace, which is Archangel Haniel. So she'll be like the overseer on the side. And then as you begin to breathe, and you can create a white light energy breathing or blue light, whatever is comfortable for you. Then you just open the door like a screen and you meet the being right where the roses are at. And then that's where you can begin to communicate. And that's also a good way to meet with your higher self. And you might be thinking, well, what does my higher self look like? Your higher self could be older or younger and look exactly like you, or you come across as an old medicine woman or old medicine man. It'll pick the scenario that suits you at this moment. So that's what it will do, how it will show up. And it will also tell you what your gifts are at the moment and where else you need to work with them and how to move them and make them work. Yes.
Thank you. Beautiful. Ray, you have a question.
That was quite the answer. I'm really looking forward to replaying this one again. I have a rather personal question. I connect with a certain group, as far as I'm concerned, or believe it's a schoolroom of sorts of hybrid children. I invite them in before I channel the beings of light, and they're usually telling me or providing me with information about what they're doing. But today they said that I could channel them. And then when I connected with the Pleiadians, who I also channel, they said they would help me. Now, I'm very excited about both of these, but I was wondering if you could provide information on how to make this more efficient or provide any information. I know it will unfold when I am ready. So anything that you can add would be special. And thank you so much for what you've done already.
My higher self to all of your higher selves. As we look at the scenery behind you, Ray, are books. Already, etherically, classroom is sitting right there. So you can actually turn around and face the books and begin to envision them as different heights around you. They're already really there at times, kind of walking through your house, looking at things. They do a lot of looking. I tell you, they like everything you have in there. They're in your kitchen. They're there. They go outside. They look at your vehicle. They say, "How does he drive this thing?" And they say, "Nah, that's not for us. Come on, let's go back in here." So they are hybrid children, as I understand. This specific ones are very, very, very adept. The minute you have a thought, they're right there. They're right there with you. They also want you to realize too, they are the next group over the rainbow children, because we had indigos and we had crystals and we got rainbows. Well, the hybrid is the next level. So what you need to do is understand that you kind of understand their language already. Don't overthink anything. One or two of the quote unquote senior students is going to be working along with you and begin to release how they are to receive the information through you. Uh, they also want you to know is that we've kind of given you a format. You were like writing down something the other day, the last couple of days. I wonder if I did this or did it this way. She said, you already hear us, so just keep writing, okay? And you will be able to do this. We also want you to know too that there are some on earth children around you who sometimes if they're in your home, they're going to see them. They will see them. They may not express it to you, but they will actually see them. And if you find them like sitting around those books and things, they're there. So whatever you have been planning to write, or what you think you're supposed to do, they have been channeling it to you anyway.
Thank you very much. Yes, it came to me today, and it made perfect sense to me after it clicked and they told me that you're interpreting our words already, write them down.
Mhm.
And since that's how I learned the prior channelings that I've done, it was one of those things like, well, I got a duh and an aha moment all at the
Mhm.
same time. How fortunate for me, and fortunate to hear from you as well and receive that wisdom. Thank you.
You're welcome. I just caught someone said something about my alignment with Sirius. Um, well, Akhenaten came to me when I didn't know who he was in 2006, as I was studying a lot of Cherokee stuff because I knew that my ancestors were Cherokee. And then one day he kind of showed up in the middle of a reading I was giving a client when I was living on Long Island, and he just kind of walked through a wall and turned around and looked at me, and I was like, "Oh God, who's this? And why is he looking at me like that?" And then he started showing up in my dreams, and of course, I didn't know who he was at the time. I couldn't remember who he was. I said, okay, I don't want to see him anymore. And then right around 2009 he made a definite impact. I mean, he showed up and would not leave. And he just looked at me and looked at me and looked at me. So after telepathically talking to me, he says, people call me Akhenaten. That's not my name. My name is Akhenaten. I said, well, why you say it that way? He said, when you say it that way, you put life into my name, breath back into my name. He says, I call you a Menitent. So I said, why you call me that? He says, I'm a good teacher. Go look it up. So I had to research for months and months and months, and I finally put it together. And I said, it means one whose prayers are efficient. He said, yeah. So what that means is it's hard for you to pray for yourself, but if you pray for someone else, bing, it carries itself out. He said, what that actually means is stay humble and just do the work. and I'll be back. So he kept coming back stronger and stronger. And I began to consciously channel him because he comes with a lot of heat. And so what he has told me is that everyone who's attracted to Sirius and to him are attracted for different reasons because they taught many candidates and not everybody had the same lesson plan, so to speak. So he says, imagine going to school and you want to go to college, but you're in grade school. So we're only going to teach you what's in grade school. When you show signs of mastery, then we unlock the next door. So now you're in high school and you show mastery, we unlock the next door. And when we get you into the university level, which is nothing more but a bunch of colleges, because that's what a university is. It's the College of Medicine, the College of Law, College of this. So he says, we see where your mind is at, and we're able to step back and see where you are going to be in the next 100 years, next 1,000 years. He said, but here's the kicker. You can move from one paradigm to the next and already be there. He said, that's what Nefertiti and I teach you. So I'm one of many, perhaps, but I was told through him to channel his book. And I have a book on Amazon. It's called The Wisdom of Akhenaten as I Am. And he speaks of the path of the cobra, which is he and Nefertiti kissing you on the various chakra points so that you awaken to who you are and you remember the teachings that you gave you. And it took me 3 months to channel and write that book. In fact, I fell asleep on part of it and I got mad at myself. And he said, come here, sit down at the computer. Your mother's here. She's going to keep you there until you get it right. So from June 2018 to September, October 2018, I wrote the book several times and then I was able to sit down and just type on the computer, no notes whatsoever, just pull the information. And then Nefertiti came in December. She says, I have a gift for you. And I said, what do you mean? She said, that's the name of the book, The Gift, The Wisdom of Nefertiti as I Am. So she talks about the blue flame like he does. They tell you the difference between astral travel and soul travel. And so the bottom line is, I'm not the only one that can channel them consciously or like I did tonight, but everybody's got a different key that they are living in teaching, and they're all correct. But they do want you to know that there are palaces up there in Sirius, and to them, that is the great central sun, not Alcyon. He said, in fact, if you take into the annals of the Masonic lore, they show you like a ladder in there. They're not going to the star Uranus. They're using that ladder, like Jacob's ladder, to go to Sirius. That's where they're going to get the more information and relay it around the world. Next.
Fantastic.
Fabulous session.
Fabulous. I do have a question.
Mhm.
And the question has to do with us. Akhenaten has a message for me.
Mhm. Yes. Beloved, you are a busy, busy man. You are truly connected to your family, to your parents, to your wife's parents. You are a true servant in this world. We want you specifically, maybe one other person, and they say it's Heidi. You and Heidi in your homes are supposed to construct a crystal, well, I'm gonna call it crystal complex. In other words, people, he says, think of crop circles, right? And how the crop circles are made. You're going to, both of you in your homes, you're going to pick a spot in your home where you're going to lay out a grid of crystals. And you're going to need one cluster sitting in the center. And it doesn't have to be humongous, but it could be maybe the size of 2 big grapefruits. It could weigh maybe about 5 to 10 pounds, a little more. It'll be in the quartz family itself. And this could be a geode sitting there opened up. It could be amethyst, clear quartz. But he said, for you, Luis, there's something called celestial. And that is for you because that's going to work with your entire cranium, because we want you to open the folds more in your brain so that you can see pure light. You have the ability to see the pure light. That's why you're living where you're at right now, because you love being in the water. You play with the water and the water crystals, and you know water has consciousness. So you're going to need some water there too, so it can give you the conscious level that you need. And it's the same with Heidi, water. You're going to empower the water before you drink it. And that's going to boost your energy fields up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. Anyone else has a question?
Lot of gratitude, no question.
Tremendous amount of gratitude. The information came very concise, very beautifully, many different levels. There could have been zillions of questions, because certainly with me, you did trigger many things. The Great Central Sun of Sirius, the connections that I always have felt. It's very interesting that I always, for many years, look at the sky and immediately see Orion, but I immediately find Sirius. It's like, you know, there you are, you know.
You're looking at it all the time.
All the time, absolutely. And there was a period in which I almost got a message, look up, you know, look up. And as soon as I look up, there they were. It's just like right there. So phenomenal. Thank you. We appreciate everything that you have done here today. And we're so grateful for the generosity of your time and your kind soul. You are joyful in so many ways. What can I say?
I used to be serious, and when Akhenaten showed up, he stop that. You know you love to laugh. Just laugh. I don't care. You're not disrupting my class, because I'm gonna pick you up and put you over there until you get tired of laughing, and then you're gonna come back and sit down.
Yeah, I love the energy of the session too. It was like I don't really want to say like a grandma's shawl, but it was like, you know, there were things that were filling in the space with loving energy around me. And now maybe that's the hybrids along with you and yours, but I enjoyed it no matter what.
Well, my last ancestor, because my mother was here, her mother is Grandma Charlotte, and she says all of you need to journal your experiences. Keep writing the diaries about it. And she said you're gonna have stacks. She said, just like Ray got stacks of books, you're gonna have to label each one of these journals. They're gonna be stacks of information that's going to just keep coming to you.
I use computers, you know, for some of that, and
yes,
even
you
that is
can.
becoming very difficult to manage.
Yeah, they said use computers
It's
for
just
some of
like,
it,
wow.
but they said, you know, heart chakra points are like right here in your palms, just where you bring your middle finger down into that point, and you can tap that point and get the remembrance. And he said, you know how you go to the bookstore, you want all the books, but you just pull one book, energy off the book. It is the same way.
We got you. You made that point really well, by the way.
Thank you.
Anyway, what a fantastic. Yeah, we're going to open it right now for just chat. Okay.
What a treat.
It is an absolute treat. And of course, Brother Francis, you're invited over and over and over again, you know. So I'm gonna just stop the recording right now.
Okay.
And then we'll open it to just general chat.
And just to let everybody know, and I'm hoping Brother Francis may find this interesting, even though it's not on a day. Well, it is on a day where he can go, but not on June 1st, we are having a hybrid children discussion and introduction. And we're going to have right now I'm getting the sense that there will be a couple of speakers and a half-hour introduction to hybrids before that discussion starts. And after those two speakers get their 10 or 15 minutes in, then Patrick Godine is going to channel hybrid children who are going to ask questions of the attendees. And I believe that that was part of why they told me that they wanted to be channeled today, and why the Pleiadian says, we will help you. So I might be seeing who, if I bring them in as well. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we could have hybrid children talking to themselves between humans and asking them each other questions because they're in different places. Or I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm just excited as hell about all of it.
The magic of it is that we'll have an opportunity to be helpful to them as they are going to be helpful to us. And think of it as they are calibrating themselves better by being able to receive our answers to their inquiries. Just in the same way that we're going to learn quite a bit and expand our ability to become more aware of where our consciousness is at and what it is more immediately capable to go to. And that is very valuable, I think.
And I really appreciate the way Brother Francis described, and Travis too, described them as exotic.
What?
Exotic in their ways of
hybrid children.
Yeah.
Their eyes may be bigger, or there are various things.
Well, there's various species. Some have been depicted as certain different exotic races. Some also has been depicted with different abilities. So yeah.
Thank you.
So the exotic applies also to the abilities.
Yes.
Yeah, the abilities that most humans are not aware of.
Yeah, and I also get the sense that they are capable of using the same basic information that we may have at any given moment. They're able to treat that differently than we would, and they're going to teach us that we have some built-in ways of looking at things that are not supposed to be that way.
Yep, new patterns of thought.
Yeah, going to help us reorganize, basically.
Brother Francis, do you have anything else for us? I'm sorry, Luis, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
That's it, because I usually tell when they're gone, like my body turns cool again. When you saw me going like this, they were like really running through me, and I was sweating.
That seems to be fairly common. I haven't experienced that yet, but yeah, whatever it was, it's working quite well, kind sir.
Well, I've learned to get out of my own way. I don't. We all have to do that sometimes.
We all have to do that. Absolutely.
Am I really hearing that right? And then we take it and try to reinterpret it. And they go like, this guy is trying to be human again. No, get out of the way. And so I learned to let them bring whatever they need to bring, and that's it.
Beautiful.
And stay in alignment.
Brother Francis, you're a teacher all the way to the last second.
I agree, and I'm looking forward to it.
And a joyful one. Yeah, a joyful one.
Thank you.
So we'll be posting more about the June 1st on the hybrids.
Yes.
Channeling
That's
Patrick
a
Godin.
Sunday.
Yeah, on a
Right.
Sunday. But we would like to give you something that you could post on your own, whatever social platforms you use,
Mhm.
to see if we can attract a little larger audience for that particular evening.
And any
Mhm.
input that you may have, either before or during that session, would be greatly appreciated, because, you know, the quality of information that's going to come through, and we're going to have people who normally do not participate in these things, some. So it will be a wide variety of spiritual paths, we will say.
Indeed.
If anybody needs to find out more about what I do, they can go to my website. It's packed with stuff. You go to www.circleofgrace with the number 1 at the end .us. So if
Yeah.
you type it into the browser, after you say .us, you should put a single / and keep it from rolling all over the place. But you'll be able to go to my website. You could click on, homepage, about me. I got about 13 links at the top. So
Just to make sure that we get that right, if you could actually send it on a messenger or text message for me, and I will make sure that in the
Yeah.
video record of this,
Well, you can throw
that's
it in the
also
chat,
included.
right? And we
You could throw it in the chat now. Yeah,
and then we'll just copy and paste it.
sure.
okay.
So how is everybody else doing tonight?
Oh,
Well, that's
good.
what I have, Brother Francis. Did I get that right when I put it in the chat?
Where is it? I don't. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's see. New message.